Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm writing. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back.
Lights are bright on Friday night, falling small.
That was weird. Okay. Oh, you can't hear that. I forget you can't hear this. Somehow the music switched over to a little funkadelic. I'm liking this. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett's Greg Goodwin. Sideline to Sideline, the 4A Week 9 edition, brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus and Lazy Dog Kettle Corn, plus Big Country Blitz. We'll be talking about Lazy Dog Kettle Corn here in a minute. Just want to go ahead and warn you, if you can't tell, this is the last show of the night, so you know how that means when it comes to Grant and Terry.
No guarantees.
Never a guarantee. Speaking of Grant, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Okay, I want to go ahead and say this, that Grant is lying to you. Grant is struggling today, but we appreciate
a little sick.
We appreciate the effort that he brings into the show. He's not like CeeDee Lamb and the routes he runs. You're trying all the time. But yeah,
I'm more like the Terrell Owens. Oh no, I'm more like the
Drew Pearson
or the Drew Henson of the show. I'm going to throw a lot of easy picks, but every once in a while, I'm going to throw in a dinger.
C Hutch.
Yeah.
Good old C Hutch.
Dude, and what's wrong with Hutch? C Hutch.
Throw that.
Michigan, right?
Henson was Michigan. Chad Hutch.
Yeah, that's why I said Henson.
No, I was talking about, well, you said C Hutch. I was talking about Chad Hutchinson, too.
Oh.
Remember Chad?
Yeah, that's who we were talking about.
We were talking about Drew Henson.
Oh.
They're two different people.
Chad Hutchinson.
Oh, well, you said Michigan. Drew Henson was Michigan.
I don't know what I was saying.
We can tell, buddy.
We should go on to 4A football.
Let's go ahead and talk a little 4A football, because that's what we do.
Do you think it's cold enough in this
It is
studio?
not cold in here, dude.
The air has been blowing for 3 straight hours.
That's called air conditioning. It's 92 degrees outside today.
Okay, but it's like 42 in here.
It's 68.
It is not 68.
No, it really is. You can go look and think it's 68.
No, I'm not going to go look, but I can tell you that thermostat is lying. It is not 68. Dude, it is freezing in here.
It is perfectly
I see this
fine.
and I'm hot natured. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like when we go to the hotels.
Oh, we're both big
games,
AC guys. Yeah.
Turn it down to 60.
Yep.
I'm fine. But this,
okay,
right
I'll go turn it down to
is
60 in the break.
40s.
It's
like
68.
we could have
folks.
a solo stove in here.
That's the next thing. Hey, check out our Patreon, because that's what we're trying to do right now. Check out our Patreon.
Get a free solo stove?
Put a solo stove and an igloo cooler and all that kind of fun stuff. But anyway, if you've never watched or listened, sorry that you had to hear that for your first ever part of Sideline to Sideline, but it's part of the course. We're going to be talking for a Week 8 review, preview Week 9. And let's just go ahead and jump right to it. And we're going to start with a game we talked about last week. And you basically said something of the Bay City is going to start proving if this is the year that we think it's going to be with this game. And they did that by beating Lavernia 40-21 as Alec Estrada threw for 294 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zylan Williams had 105 yards receiving. And Jada Andres ran for 193. I mean, first and foremost, if you're going to be able to be that diverse on offense, I don't want to play you in the playoffs because you want to talk about pick your poison.
Yeah, that's the triplets in Class 4A, right? I mean, it really is. Outside of when Edna just schooled them, they have been spot on. I don't know what happened in that Edna game, right? I went back and watched it. Edna just controlled the line of scrimmage. But since then, Bay City has been a different football team. And, yeah, they might be a region threat down here in 4A.
We'll have to see. They're going to have the athletes that can match anybody. Again, it's finding that, and we kind of talked about that when it came to Hitchcock in 3A. It's finding you don't have to be dominating at the line, but you've got to find enough time for your skill guys to do their thing.
But when Jada Andrews is running for 193 yards, it's not like your offensive line's not being dominant.
Exactly.
Right?
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Speaking of dominant, Kilgore, the Henderson loss a couple weeks ago. They've completely bounced back from that as they outscore a solid Lindale team 42-21. Kason Brooks throws for 5 touchdowns. That's not the cool stat. 5 touchdowns is awesome. He only threw 15 passes. He completed 14 of them. So out of 14 completions, 5 of them were touchdowns
for 246 yards.
That is efficiency.
And Javen Towns has 6 catches for 127 yards.
Yeah,
pretty efficient.
And we've said this all year. The reason, even after that Henderson loss, the reason I'm so high on what Kilgore is this year is when they need to play a ugly game, they can. A la Carthage. When they need to score points, they can. Like this. That
speaks to you have a really good defense.
Yes.
I mean, they are so physical up front. They're so quick on the back end that they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I mean, I would not be surprised to see Kilgore playing for a state championship.
Well, they better, because that's who I had playing for a state championship.
All right, Canyon Randall, 41, Hereford, 34. This was the game to be at if you were up in the Amarillo / Lubbock area, right?
Yeah.
The Panhandle. These two teams combined for over 1,000 yards of offense. Randall's quarterback, Dylan Ray, ran for 247 yards. And I'm sorry, that was their running back. And their quarterback, Kason Benton, went 13-21 for 216 yards passing.
Yeah, and Hereford now is just the tough loss team. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games, but they lose to Seminole, and then they lose to Randall in this shootout. They're now 1-1.
But Randall hit their quarterback, man. Hereford's quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean, look, his stat line could get lost in this loss, but Hereford's quarterback, Caleb Ramirez, 384 yards passing and a touchdown, and he ran for 2 scores.
And this is a team, Hereford, we've talked about it a couple years ago. Adam Nairn played all freshmen and sophomores. They took their lumps. Last year they got better. They were 7-4. And I think this year they're going to be even better. It's just, look, 4A Division I, it turned out to be pretty tough through the top 4. Yeah. And that's with Canyon surprisingly now 0-2 in district.
Right.
Now, to be fair, they've played West Plains and Dumas. You could make the case that those are 2 of the favorites.
Dumas is a little bit of a surprise this year.
Dumas, they started out the season really slow, but then you go, well, they lost to Canadian, and they lost to a very underrated Plainview team, and then they lost to Bushland, and then they lose to Randall by 10, but then they throttle Canyon. I don't know what's going on in Eagle Land. You and I both thought Canyon at the beginning of the year was going to be able to replicate the success they've had. Yeah. It looks like it's going to come down between them and Hereford for that last playoff
and
spot.
Right now, you got to think Hereford's the favorite.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, but again, got to play the game. And then saying that, Hereford's playing Dumas this week, and if they beat Dumas, Hereford's back into, hey, we could play for district this year.
And I think Hereford does beat Dumas.
Do we have that game on the run sheet?
I don't think we actually do.
Let me check.
No, we don't.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. I think Hereford beats Dumas. It'll be a close game, though. I don't think it's going to be anything, but I like Dumas. I mean, I like Hereford in that game.
All right, San Antonio Davenport getting back on track after losing, I think it was last week, right? They beat Somerset 55-14. Somerset's a pretty solid team, too.
Now, Davenport, they lost a few weeks ago.
Oh, was it a few weeks ago?
To Piper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, these weeks all run together.
No, 100%. That's why I had to look. I was like, wait, who? Wait, no. But no, you're right. They
maybe we'll go see Davenport week 11 in a couple of weeks. We need to run down there and see them for the playoffs.
Well, we really do, because they kind of, you and I talked about this.
If we have any listeners down there, I don't know. We don't seem to have a heavy San Antonio.
Well, because this is one of the things that you and I talk about all the time when it comes to 4A Division I. We love it, still absolutely love it. But for all the Dumases and the Kilgores and the Lindells, you're getting more of the San Antonio Davenports, the Frisco Panther Creeks, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not in this level for long. They're up and go, especially when you're Davenport. We're talking about year 3 of their football program, and so it's hard to get a hold of that, and it's been hard to follow them because of that. Because this team is very much likely to be playing in the region final. Last year they did and lost to Chapel Hill in a game that was real close back and forth, and Davenport returns everybody from that team, or not everybody, but a lot of people. But it's just hard to get a read on them.
But I think that's why we need to go down and see them before the playoffs.
I agree.
Next week is Brock at Graham.
Yes.
Maybe the next week after that, we'll go down to San Antonio and see Davenport. All right. Huffman Hargrave 70, Hardin Jefferson 41. Huffman is now 7-0.
Man, this is in a year where you and I feel like it feels like defenses are playing better and offenses are playing more ball control, running the ball more. But man, we've had some teams that just are going on some runs, and Hargrave 61, 65, 70. The least amount of points they've scored in a game this year was 34 at the second week of the year. I didn't see this coming from Hargrave. We thought they were going to be solid. We thought they were going to be really good. They were very young last year, really the last 2 years, going 3-7 and 1-9, but they returned everybody. And man, this Falcon team is looking more like that team. What was it, 2020, when they took Kilgore to the mat before finally losing?
In Crockett, we were at that game.
Great.
I don't think was that 2020?
Yeah, I think that was, dude. It's
been a while. It had to have been 2021.
Yeah, 2020. 20-17,
really?
Because that was only the second game I went to.
That was a darn good Huffman team, too.
You know what was also great about that play? Our first time with Mimsy.
Second time. But
no, that was the first time. We've done it again since then.
I had done it once before.
I never knew that. I thought that was your first time, too.
I don't know. Maybe I hadn't.
But anyway, it's good to see Huffman Hargrave back.
If you can play a playoff game in Crockett, schedule it in Crockett, because Mimsy's is the best pre-game meal you can ever have.
And you don't just have, if barbecue's not your thing, they have steak, they have burgers, they have chicken fried steak, they have a lot of other things. I do want to bring up before we close out this segment or this section right here. 10-4A Division I, dude. It's a very divided line, but man, the top 3 are a combined 22-2 with Bridge City, Huffman, and LCM, and out of those 3,
it's been a surprise.
Please continue this, Bridge City.
I think we have them on the run sheet. We have El Campo and Bridge City this week, which is a huge rivalry game.
El Campo and Bridge City. You mean El Campo and Bay City?
Bay City. Oops.
Bridge City does have an important.
Edit that.
Bridge City does have an important game. LCM.
We should actually edit that.
No, we're not going to edit. Just you make it one thing. We only do that when we talk 5 minutes of a team.
That jack off troll, old retired fart all over me.
Who?
I don't know, whatever old retired
fart that's
guy.
all over us.
Yeah.
I love the fact we can just generically throw it out.
Jack off troll.
Hey, Pine Tree outlasts Henderson 35-25. The Pirates are now 6-1. We told y'all folks at the beginning of the year that Pine Tree was going to drop down, and the only thing that might hurt them was they were in such a tough district. Would they be able to get out of it alive? And they're not only getting out of it alive,
they're thriving.
I mean,
6-1.
You
only lost to Kilgore.
And by the way, we said this at the beginning of the year, and people thought we were crazy because of how good Kilgore is. nobody would go unscathed in this district, and nobody will. Henderson's 3-1, Kilgore's 3-1, Chapel Hill's 3-1, and Pine Tree is 2-1. Even for a team like Chapel Hill that feels like they're a shell of themselves and they really got throttled by Kilgore a couple weeks ago, they're still very much in play for district champion. If they win out, they have a good chance.
Quarterback back.
Yeah. Well, was he out 2 weeks? Is that what happened in the Kilgore game?
Coach X asked if they had their quarterback back.
Oh, he just might be just randomly asking that because it makes him sound like he knows football.
Springs, 28, Paris 14, Sulphur Springs reeling from that just
throttling.
Absolutely, ass kicking that Salina gave them. And they come back against a very good Paris team, beat them by 2 touchdowns, 28-14. My question is, though, Paris over the last few weeks has not been the Paris that we saw earlier this year.
Well, I mean,
have they? I mean, maybe it's their schedule. I don't know.
Well, no, I think they've been them. I just think some of the games that they won early, like beating Lake Dallas 28-23 this week,
that should have been a really. I don't think that's as impressive as what the year started. We thought Lake Dallas was going to be better than what they were.
Well, again, go back. Let's look at Lake Dallas. They lose by 5 to Paris and by 2 to Panther Creek. I mean, that's to me very good.
I guess that's pretty good. But I'm expecting Panther Creek, with all the expectations, to be a region threat, and I don't think they are.
Panther Creek, or
yeah.
Oh, I think
Lake
Panther
Dallas,
Creek's definitely
Lake Dallas.
Oh,
Lake Dallas.
I think Lake Dallas still
Panther
can be.
Creek either. I think Panther Creek gets it shoved in them all in all different orifices by Salina. No, they're not.
Oh, man, how many times have we seen that, though? That happens in the regular season, and you play them in the playoffs.
If you're a betting man, though, are you going to put 500
not right now,
on it?
no. But I still think they're a region threat. I still think this region. I still think this.
I mean, unless Salina had a ton of injuries, Panther Creek, Dallas.
But what I'm saying is a region threat. I didn't say they're going to win the region. They're a region threat. So even
a threat to win the region.
Yes.
So they're a threat to Salina.
Yes.
Basically, is what it is.
Yes.
I don't think they're any more of a threat to Salina than what, I don't know, Canada is to the United States.
Oh, wow. Throwing out at the Maple folks. Sorry about that.
I love your syrup and I love your poutine.
And we like your hockey.
Hockey.
No, yeah, you're not as big in hockey.
It's soccer with a harder ball.
Not at all. If soccer could be played like hockey, everybody would watch soccer more because that'd be awesome.
So says you. But actually, that would be a pretty cool game.
I'm telling you, it'd be kind of cool. Greenwood beats Monaghan.
Here's a team I am very interested. My ears are perking up at Greenwood.
Yep,
what the heck is going on? Greenwood's 6-1 now. They just throttle Monaghan's 32-7. I know Monaghan's has dropped off.
They were not what we thought they were going to
be.
Yeah.
But Greenwood being 6-1, and a lot of their wins are not even close.
You know, the Rangers do this every few years. They kind of rebuild, but it's really surprising because they started off the year losing, or not starting off, I think it was week 2, losing to Sweetwater. And Sweetwater had, for the longest time, underperformed down in 3A. Now Sweetwater's playing better. But then, you know, they beat a good 3A Shallowater by 6. They beat a solid Andrews by 1. So I think part of it with Greenwood is it wasn't like they were impressing in any way. I still don't know how impressive this win is, but I do know one thing. It's setting up them in Fort Stockton this week, basically to decide district.
Sometimes the skin is the skin. You play to your paper, and that's what Greenwood's doing, right?
Yep, that's a good point.
I don't know how many times I can go see Greenwood again. The one time we went and saw Greenwood, it's kind of intimidated.
Why?
They were in their tunnel.
That's when they were talking trap about what we said.
About what we said, and they won, and then they had the gas burn off in the back, the flare and everything. It looked like Iraq over there. And then they were talking shit. I was like, damn.
The one
we
guy.
We need to leave now.
The one guy that
you're like, let's watch one quarter. I was like, no, dude, we need to leave now. You talked me into it. But I was like generally kind of like a little bit worried. I've been working out.
We had the one guy walk over and be like, one of y'all needs to leave, and it ain't Bennett. I was just like, let's let him stay. It wasn't as bad as Columbus hating on you, but it was pretty close.
We're doing a body cavity search on you, boy. And you were like, really? Cool. All
Yeah,
right.
I know. I was disappointed it wasn't me. I was like, oh.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes. Head and shoulders, knees and toes.
You're
That's what you
screaming,
did,
you're
right?
screaming lemonade,
And
lemonade
then you
around
just
the
bent
corner.
over,
Chocolate's
and
made.
you're like, I think it's in here.
Again,
Look
I
in
told
here.
y'all this was the last show of the night, so you're seeing it.
Hey, the guy with the big forearms. It's in here.
Hey, hey, have you ever, not ever, but have you ever seen a team?
A grown man naked.
Have you
No.
ever seen a grown man? Pete, have you ever seen a grown man wrestle? Have you ever seen a team lose by 3
I've seen a lot of
touchdowns?
teams
Hang on. Lose by
Okay.
3 touchdowns.
I've seen that.
Get shut out.
I've seen that.
But you walk away going,
Not the
dang,
same
Mineral Wells, that was pretty impressive. As-
Yeah, to Brock.
I mean, they took Brock to the mat as much as they could. And
Wait. Explain this to me. How do you take a team to the mat and lose by 3 touchdowns?
Because it wasn't
How
like,
Texas took Georgia to the mat and lost by 2
actually,
touchdowns?
no. Actually, that would you could make a case if it was where Brock jumped out 21-0 in the first quarter.
That's what I'm asking.
It was
I guess.
7-0 at halftime.
Okay.
Mineral Wells played Brock man to man. This wasn't one of those where, Brock won 21-0 and they were just up 21-0 and they were just really nice and being, they didn't want to run it over on the former Brock. No, that Mineral Wells was in the game. What I love is that Cody Worrell, and you can hear the Mineral Wells coaches show and the Brock coaches show here each and every week. I love that he started the game off with a double pass. You got to like that when a team wants to start.
Coach
But no,
Worrell did?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what he does. He's known.
He starts every game with a double pass.
Yes, with every game. You'd figure teams would figure this out.
I would
by
figure
now.
that out. And I'm not even a good
I don't
coach
think you
on
would.
my Sega Genesis.
Playing Madden on your Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
that's
my
what all
God.
those kids are playing now.
Yes,
right?
that's it right there. That's what. But no, seriously, I'm very impressed. We talked about it. Mineral Wells, they're putting the pieces together. They still need to get some better offense. They need to get some better consistency as far as drive to drive.
Scoring 0. I think they might
Why
need to
are
get some
you
better
crapping on them?
I'm not crapping on them. I'm just saying it's 21-0. You said they need to get a better offense.
No,
Maybe.
I'm talking about you're all like, well, how do you take them to the mat? Like,
I'm just saying you're not taking somebody
you've
to
watched
the
enough
mat.
football, Grant, to know 21-0.
I did not see this game though, so I see 21-0. You've seen the game, so
Okay,
you
even
say
if
it.
you even if I hadn't
I'm
seen
like,
the game,
to me, I didn't see the game. They didn't get taken to the mat. You saw the game, so I
so
completely agree.
Brock before hang on, no. Brock before this
Love you,
game,
bro.
51, 38, 55, 49, 42, then score 21. That's impressive, seriously. But all jokes aside, I'm not saying Mineral Wells almost beat them, but if I'd have told you, hey, man.
I just think taken to the mat is 21-20.
I think being
in overtime.
I think being down 7-0 at half, I think you're
that's taking them to 4 quarters, not to the mat.
Same
All right.
thing.
That's not the same thing.
I love you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you, man.
I love when we
you
get to this
too.
point of the show.
Should we time out and just hug?
Yeah, but we'll put it on OnlyFans. Starting a new OnlyFans. It'll be just us drinking beer and falling asleep. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll show my foot with only 3 toes. I have 3 toes on my right foot.
When did that happen?
Okay, I lied.
I've been in
I'm
another
trying to sell
hotel.
videos, dude. Shit. Shoot.
You want 6 toes, not 3.
Oh,
they
6.
want more toes, not less toes.
We'll try that out next week.
They're like,
Nobody will remember.
They're like P. Diddy with something else that sounds like O's. They want as many as possible, not as little as you can be.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about that.
What are your thoughts on Van almost? Did Van take Gilmer to the mat?
Actually, that's more taking to the mat.
There's
what
varying
Mineral Wells
degrees of
did.
mat taking we're
I
learning.
know. What
It feel
kind of
like-
mat are we talking about? A soft mat,
This
a hard
is like our
mat?
tier show back in the day. Okay, so that was a half mat takedown. No, but seriously, great game for Van.
Yeah, that was closer to the mat than anything.
Dude, this district, and we knew by name this district was going to be tough, but with
Right.
Van being as solid as they are, I mean, man, Gilmer's probably going to win this district. And then it's going to be Van and Pleasant Grove the last week of the year battling it out for that second playoff
Hey,
spot.
doesn't Gilmer have Pleasant Grove this week, right?
Yeah, but
I
I
believe-
think Gilmer Pleasant Grove has
Dude,
improved 1,000%.
Yeah, but don't say name your score.
Oh, no, I don't think it's name your score, but I think it's
thought you were
comfortable.
about to say that. And we'll preview that.
Yeah, we'll preview that
next.
Here in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was a little bit closer, right? I think that Van defensive front and the offensive line, whereas they're not as tough as they were last year, they still had enough. And look, Gilmer's going to be Gilmer. Gilmer might very well make it back to a state championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Van is that, I mean, they've got, 2 losses now?
Yeah,
right?
But, I mean, solid losses.
Solid losses.
Yeah.
But, the shine's taken off of them. They didn't have any shine last year when they played Carthage pretty close for a half.
We were at that game.
3 quarters. Yeah. And they lost some of that offensive line talent that they had last year, but they're still muddling it up. Man, Van is a how do you say this? Van's that tough team. What's a NFL team that? Never mind. No comparisons. I'm trying to think.
Like a team you don't want to play each and every week,
right? Not the Eagles. But the Eagles. No, I don't know, dude. Van, I would not want to play
question.
because they can chip, they can scoop, they can just. What are you looking at over there?
To get idea, I'm looking at the helmet. A team.
What are you looking at?
The helmets to get an idea of a team. Tampa
okay.
right now. Tampa right now is one of those.
Yeah, Van doesn't have a Baker Mayfield.
Well, no, because he would be illegal if he was playing for Van right now, and it'd be pretty unfair. Sorry, I'm in one of those moods now. Hey, you owe somebody an apology.
Who?
That's the town of Sinton, brother. Because you sat here last week and talked about Sinton's. They just kind of play around a little bit, and they just keep letting us down.
I didn't think. I thought the further north, Sinton,
and historically, that's where they start to struggle. You're 100% right on that.
And Sinton came down from a 9-point deficit at half. Cuero was up by 9 points, and then Sinton's quarterback Trent Hansen runs for 208 yards. Cuero cannot handle him. Yeah, big kudos, big ups to Sinton, man. Wow, what an impressive win. To me, now all of a sudden, I got to start thinking about them as region favorites, right?
In a region that seems like it's going to be really wide open.
Stacked, but wide open.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as stacked as Region 3, right?
Oh, it's not. I don't think so.
But if you are a Sinton type team and you just beat Cuero 23-18 and you get to that one game, the semifinals, right, against Region 3, let the chips fall. You have a good game. They give you a couple of chances. You're good enough. Sinton's good enough maybe to beat anybody and end up in Arlington. Dude, if I'm a Sinton Pirate fan, this is one of the biggest wins we've had.
I agree. I mean, you're looking at this region this year, and we've talked about it. Wimberley is still Wimberley, but they're down. Navarro is very down. I don't know
that Wimberley's like down, but Wimberley is so one-dimensional, I think, right, with the quarterback. Defensive front's really tough.
Oh, yeah, they're still a tough team.
You can scheme that defensive front out of the game if you're Sinton.
Yes. Oh, yeah, good point. But, I mean, dude, I kind of agree with you. It's Davenport and it's Sinton right now. To me,
I might take Sinton over that.
Not Davenport. Davenport's D1. My bad. It's Sinton, and I still think Cuero has a say in this region.
You do. You play this game over again, but
I think
I'm telling you, this is huge for Sinton.
No, I totally agree with you. Let's see, Robinson, dude, they keep putting it together. I think it's time to stop calling them Cinderella and start calling them the raw deal.
Yeah,
the real deal,
right? So Robinson beats Conley 42-29. Robinson running back Evan Moreno runs for 179 yards, 25 carries. Bryce McCurdy, the quarterback of quarterbacks in that region, 6-19 for 139 yards passing and runs for 40 yards on 7 carries. Robinson's 6-1. Their only loss was Alvarado 47-21.
And that's not a bad loss at all.
But I'm going to tell you on our next preview
Go
here. Look, Alvarado 56, Lake Worth 7. I don't have a lot to say about this game, but I went back and watched it online. Alvarado's quarterback Cardia Collier and their running back Demarcus Belton.
Belton doesn't get talked about much because Collier and of course Alvarado now throwing is still fun to talk about. But this team without Belton is not anywhere like what they are right now.
Oh yeah, so Collier and Belton pretty much lead the fastest team in the state.
Yeah,
one of the fastest teams in the state. I'm telling you, right there, those two they got some guys on the edges at receiver that can go, but their defense is really quick. This is one of the fastest, quickest teams Alvarado is in the whole state of Texas. Watch out for them in the playoffs.
And you want to talk about, speaking of, we were specifically talking about Salina and Panther Creek and Sulphur Springs inside that region. But you want to talk about, to me right now, punching order of Region 2 4A Division 1 is Salina and then Alvarado. I don't think Alvarado is as far away from Salina as everybody else is.
Well, Alvarado is Sulphur Springs with a better offensive line, better defensive front, and more speed.
And I'm going to tell you.
And you thought that – I never thought that Sulphur Springs was in the game with Salina. You thought they kind of were. But given the fact that Alvarado –
you talking about the actual game? No, I don't. I think Salina could have named their score.
If they played well.
Oh, you're saying if they –
if they played well.
Yeah,
I think if Sulphur Springs played well, they wouldn't still – they might have been within a touchdown better.
I can see that, yeah. No, 100%.
But Alvarado is Sulphur Springs on steroids.
And
I'm telling you, Alvarado is fast. They're quick.
Yep.
Their lines are good. Alvarado might be in Arlington playing for it all, and you might look up and say, where'd this team come from? Just remember, we told you.
And
Alvarado's that good.
And don't forget Springtown. Same region, dude.
Yeah. I haven't seen Springtown.
I have.
I know. Dude, you saw them against China Spring,
and I know
right?
China Spring is down this year, but China Spring is still physical. China Spring still flies to the football. China Spring still hits. And Springtown is big. They're athletic, and they love to fight. And we joke, they're Kilgore West as far as just how physical they can be in a game. And that quarterback.
Oh, we got a bar we can go eat ribs in Springtown then?
Yes, and I think 50% better chance.
We don't have.
No, I know. That's not about country. No, I'm saying yes, but 50% chance it'll be less good ribs, but 75% chance more you'll get stabbed. But no,
we could get in a good fight.
Yeah, we get in a real good fight.
Look at me. I like a good fight.
Oh yeah. Look at. By the way, speaking of, I love your election shirt. We should all live for that right there. I know you're not, and you're right. You haven't seen them.
This is the only party I back.
There you go. You haven't seen them, and you're very much like me. If you haven't seen them,
I know
you doubt.
It's hard.
But
right.
Springtown, I'm not saying they're in Salina's level, but I do think they're at around Alvarado's level. So if you think Alvarado can,
but I think Alvarado and Salina are at the same level.
Then I would say Springtown's just below that. Then just below, they could easily.
I think if Salina and Alvarado played right now, Salina would be a
14-point.
No.
You think more?
Less.
Ooh, that's a
dude.
Good one.
I'm telling you,
no, I'm 100% believer in Alvarado. I don't know that such Alvarado a big believer
could stop
that running
Salina.
Game. Yeah,
but Salina would get a few more stops on Alvarado, but Alvarado would break some big plays on Salina. Stephenville or Sulphur Springs did. I think Alvarado would too. I think Salina would be the favorite, but man, it would be a good one. All right, Bridge City 32, Livingston 20. Bridge City's now 7-0. Bridge City's defense is only giving up about 12 points a game. That we talk about Bridge City putting up some points, right?
Yeah.
But their defense, man. Their defense
and you've got
really
in that area, you got to play defense. We can talk about offenses all day, but the teams that survive that district, and again, I don't know how far anybody goes in this district this year, but inside the district, it's always going to be physical.
If you're Bridge City and you're 7-0, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself throughout the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
If you're getting better and you're staying healthy,
you got to realize, dude, they're in such a tough region.
Oh, they are.
That
toughest region.
So let's say they win District 10, which they should.
Okay.
So they win District 10. Their first round matchup could be Kilgore, Henderson, Chapel Hill. They're the 4 touchdown underdog in any of those games.
Sacrificial lamb that El Campo used to be.
Exactly.
Kilgore, right.
At least
I think Bridge City can play with any of those guys up there,
except for Kilgore.
And even Kilgore. I mean, look, Henderson's a great team. But if Henderson can beat them, I think Bridge
That's a
City.
good point. No, that's
right?
a good point. That's a really good point. Anyway, is that it?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get to the fun part of the show. And that is where we preview this week. Also, Coach X right here on Sideline to Sideline, brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus on L4 Media.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Oh, can you pause? No, don't pause.
Lights are bright.
Sarah Bennett, Grant Goodwin back here, Sideline to Sideline, the 4A edition. Want to welcome our new sponsor. Now, we don't really have a ton of information to give you yet, because we literally just signed him last week. But he's going to be giving us some great food, so we want to talk about him right now anyway. And that's Lazy Dog Kettle Corn. You can find them on Facebook. Just type in Lazy Dog, DAWG, Kettle Corn. And I'm one of those that I absolutely love kettle corn. I prefer kettle corn over popcorn. I wish more movies. Man, you always do this.
No, I like kettle corn.
I just wish more movie places had kettle corn. There used to be.
They do that in a kettle?
Yes. It's just in a small kettle. It's called small batch.
All right. I like that.
The great thing is you can get some great individual flavors, like chocolate, like brownie, like s'mores. They also have Sweet Heat, which is Texas Smokehouse. So if you have a little heat with your sweetness, Lazy Dog Kettle Corn will take care of it for you. So again, go to their Facebook. They don't have a Facebook link that I can just read out right now. When you start a Facebook page, you have to have so many followers before they'll give you that.
They have artichoke.
No, they do not have. Brian, would you work on artichoke for the co-host shows here? But I will post their link on this show page when I post, or on the show post when I post it. But we do thank them. They're going to be a playoff sponsor the rest of the year, and they're going to be sponsoring our Outdrank the coverage. You can hear each and every Monday and watch live, and so we do appreciate that. All right. It's now our favorite time of the favorite time is when I say, okay, that's what Coach X had to say, and I'm done with it.
Maybe we could talk more about artichokes instead of Coach X.
I would rather talk Coach X. I am not an artichoke fan. I had a stuffed artichoke once, and that was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
No, you need artichoke dip. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's not the worst.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, but
I like
if it's
anything
there,
stuffed, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's why you want to go to OnlyFans.
That's why you got a Old Can Harry's in Austin.
Is that like Spanky's up here?
Stuffed. No, it's not like Spanky's.
What is it? Let me write this down.
I'll tell you off air because it's not very nice.
Just send
there you go.
Send it to the private email.
You've never heard of Old Can Harry's?
I've heard the name, but I have no clue what it is.
Okay.
In fact, I've heard it in jokes, and I didn't know what it was.
I think maybe you and Coach X should go together.
Okay, so it's one of those bars. It's like the Blue Oyster Cult and Police Academy.
Never watched that.
You've never seen Police Academy? I'm about to say, there's no way you did.
It's the guy that goes, beep, boom.
That's
like
one guy in a
yeah, I don't like
black
voices
actors
like that.
Anyway,
some of my favorite people are black actors.
Sure they are. All right, here's Coach. Hey, this might be the most famous Coach X after hearing that. So I was listening to the show last week, and to my surprise, I actually agreed with Terrence twice. First, yes, I'm funny. He's talking about himself. And thirdly, okay, that small town math. Thirdly, the You Buy t-shirt is a great idea. We all agree with that. That is, we are going to have a You Buy t-shirt. I kind of like the fact that you said earlier in the 3A show, people might not know the story. So what we'll do is we'll have it on the front and then we'll tell the whole story on the back. That'll be easy, right? But no, we really do want to do a t-shirt like that.
That'd have to be a mighty big t-shirt.
I mean, it's not really that. It's a buffet place in Graham that Coach X loved, and he told a joke about You Buy, and Grant being the guy
picked up an egg roll.
Yeah, bit it, put it
didn't
down.
Like it. And then the Chinese guy came out. No, you buy. You have to pay for the whole thing.
And your entrepreneurial skills saw a money making machine right then and there.
Which was what?
A t-shirt. You buy.
Oh, thank you.
Think of the possibilities, Brett. You can walk.
Coach X and I are going to make a ton of money.
Yeah, do you realize? Okay, so first off, next week. Now, this is very crude counting, but next week is our 400th episode.
Is it really?
Yeah, no joke. And Coach X, for all the jokes and stuff, and that's why we love him. He's funny. He's been doing this for 10 years with us. Yeah. Almost 10 years. I think 2015 was the first year he started. Coach X, I know you listen. If you tell me, I think it was 2015. But anyway, just want to let y'all know we're not going to do anything special.
So that's 9 years. Not 10.
Yeah, 9 years. We're not going to do anything special probably for the 400th episode. But when we hit 500, we're going to do something nice that episode.
We'll go eat egg rolls and Graham. We actually should.
Speaking of,
but we need to Uber there from the studio, which is 5,000 miles. And it's only $600 Uber drive, but we're not going to Uber there sober.
So I got to tell you, that's actually one of the fun drunk things I do at the house.
You get drunk?
Yeah, I know. One of the fun drunk things I do at the house is I sometimes will be like, what would it cost to Uber to El Paso? What would it just to put it in the map just to see? But speaking of Graham, we will be going to Graham in 2 weeks.
Brock and Graham, we're going?
You know that.
I didn't know that. You said we might.
Well, no, it's an L4 event.
You're the boss.
Graham,
Grant.
Graham has asked us to come to be a part of their tailgate party. If you don't know, L4 Media, the company we work for, Taylor Lee, our wonderful videographer and director and producer, he did the Graham intro videos for their scoreboard. He also does their hype videos every week. We also have a Graham coaches show. We have a Brock coaches show. You could make the case this is Sideline Bowl Part 2 because remember a couple years ago it was Graham versus.
I will tell you with Graham that I don't know if this is the same band director that's at Graham, but that guy told me to pretty much, without saying F off, vacate this area, get the hell out of here, just because I was walking through the stands and I was in the way or something. I don't know. And he just yelled at me and it kind of hurt my feelings.
So Graham,
this has been a long time ago.
I need to give us a t-shirt to make things better. I'm just saying. Or a mini helmet.
Yeah.
Mini helmet.
Graham
like
band. Be nicer to Grant.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the games.
All right, Stephenville versus Lampasas. What a great game this is going to be. Stephenville's quarterback, Ryan Gafford, got a really good receiver in Tristan Gentry, probably one of the top receivers in 4A, right? Sawyer Wilkerson at running back. What an addition he's been since coming over. Lampasas has a great quarterback in Reed Jerome. You know, he's a dual threat quarterback. He's got two really good receivers in Ty Johnson and Hagen Onken. Whose defense is going to be better here, right?
Stephenville's.
I think it is going to be
That's
Stephenville's.
where the game gets won for Stephenville's.
Yeah, it is. It is up front, right? but I think Lampasas' offense is good enough to push them for a while.
Oh, yeah. I think Lampasas can push them. I think Lampasas is a team with the right playoff draw, could be playing for a few rounds. But at the end of the day, it's going to always go back to until they prove me wrong when they get up against physical offensive line.
I've been back and I've watched a Lampasas game online, and their offense is prolific.
And I think I'm not going to try to say that Reed Jerome and this offense is better than Ace Whitehead.
It's not, but it's pretty.
It's
comparable.
More efficient at times. It feels like that when they need to
spread out more.
It feels like when they need to get first downs to kill the clock, they can do that. Sometimes in that a couple years, I don't
think they have the running game that they had.
I don't know. Jet Walker's pretty darn good, dude.
Yeah,
it's close. It's close.
I don't know. They seem more efficient running the football back in those days, but yeah, that's still pretty close.
And I think this game's going to be a lot closer than what a lot of people think. I think Stephenville wins. I think Stephenville wins maybe by 10-14, but I don't think.
I agree.
I don't think we're going to come back next week and be like, man, Lampasas just spit the bit. I think we're going to be like, wow, Lampasas was really impressive.
Right, exactly. All right, Bridge City.
Hang on. We got Coach X. Oh, sorry. Oh, Coach X says, so this is a tough one because of my connection to Esville makes my judgment cloudy on this. But then again, while I was in Stephenburg, my judgment was cloudy a lot, which is why I went home with that big girl once. But I also did that once a lot of times. Lampasas used to have Ace Whitehead playing quarterback for them, and that is still the coolest name for a QB ever. But give me the Jackets in this one, Stephenville, the big girl capital of Texas. We didn't say that. Coach X said that.
How's the guy living in Freer, Texas, come up with? He's from Stephenville. I guess he lived in Stephenville.
Yeah, I think
went to college in Stephenville.
I think he
went to Dalton.
Okay, he went to college. That's part of the reason why he can't coach this year. Is apparently somebody finally said, "Wait a minute, that degree's in crayon." Kind of did some checking, so that's why he's having
Bluebeam. Yeah. Have you ever seen Bluebeam? Bluebeam. You can pretty much edit any PDF document. Yeah, I've gotten a long way with Bluebeam. I have a Bluebeam subscription.
I promise you I paid my electric. Here's the check.
All right, Bridge City 7-0 taking on Little Cypress Morrisville that is 5-2. This is just a low key, really good game. Nobody around the state's talking about it, but I think in Southeast Texas,
I don't even know if
this is a darn good game right here, man.
I don't even know if it's low key. I think I'm like you. This is a SCTX message board matchup right here. You've got the old standard in LCM who consistently goes to the playoffs, consistently, every 3 or 4 years will win 11 and 12 games against upstart Bridge City, who I don't know how many times you and I
bad for a while.
Well, how many times we've been in that area, drove across the bridge, and we usually say the exact same thing. I just don't know why this team is not better than that, because they always look big, they always look good. And then you look at LCM's 2 losses at the beginning of the year to Hampshire Fannett, 13-7, to Silsby 27-14. Not a bad loss. And I know both of those teams are not quite where they've been last year, but they're still really good teams. I love this matchup. I love that we're talking Bridge City. Yeah, I got LCM winning this game. I think
I've got Bridge City.
I have no problem with it. This is a pick'em game.
This is a pick'em toss-up under a touchdown. Either way, you pick LCM. I pick Bridge City. Coach X didn't have one on this one.
I forgot that their new coach is Josh Smalley. He was over at Orangefield. He's the one that really got them going and kind of got him to be actually on the map, kind of like what he's doing at Bridge City, where, because Orangefield was a team you never talked about. We even made, again, that was another area I can remember 10 years ago. We were like, man, why are we never talking about them?
A good coach in a small town makes a world of difference.
No, I agree 100%. And I think he's doing great things.
Grant Saline, look at him.
Oh, right? Wow. Yeah. Great point. Check out the 3A show. We talk a lot about them.
All right. Paris versus Salina should be a game on paper. Should have been a game on paper at least a few weeks ago, but Salina is on a different level than a lot of other teams in Class 4A. Paris is going to get taken to the woodshed. Salina is going to name their score.
Yeah, I was trying to be like, hey, we can talk about how Paris almost beat Panther Creek and, all that. But this is kind of what Paris does. They start to lose, and then they just can't get itself going. But I'll be honest with you, Paris could be unbeaten in top 5 in the state, and I still think Salina would win this game by 14
just
points.
So complete.
I will say this right now, until Stephenville, and I think that's the semifinal, I don't see anybody beating Salina. And I don't even know if I see,
anybody coming close.
Salina is in the middle of possibly one of those it's Salina runs where when they just roll everybody. And so I could see Paris keeping this close for a drive. I just think Salina's going to waylay them.
Oh, yeah, they
Salina
will waylay them.
Salina just feels like, and Salina has been so good over the years in 4A, but in 4A and then late at the end of the old 3A, they didn't ever feel like Salina. This feels like Salina. Like just seeing them first drive and just holy crap.
Yeah.
You know
how big they are.
Yes.
Up front on the offensive line, how quick they are. They're pretty good size on the defensive front, but that defensive front is so quick, man. I mean, on the edges, I don't know how you beat Salina. It's hard to scheme them out, right?
Yeah.
Scheme them out of position. I just don't. They don't hide anybody. They got. I mean, everybody.
Dude, they got linebackers. They are a team that is so deep at 4A Division I. They were trotting out a complete nickel defense at times against Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
We're not talking
very
about
effective.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No, we're not talking about a linebacker. We're talking about 2 linebackers coming in for 2 safeties.
Yeah, it's a
2
whole
rushing.
thing. You think the punt team's coming in? No, they're
exactly.
on defense. They're not the punt team.
100% exactly right.
All right, Midland Greenwood 6-1 versus Fort Stockton 6-2. This is a pretty game on paper, but Greenwood's going to name their score.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so at all. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm trying to
wrong.
make sure.
Look
Coach,
at
trying to make sure Coach.
what
Jackson
happened
everything
to Fort Stockton last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, Seminole destroyed them. Yeah,
Right.
It was 62
Greenwood's
to 72.
as good as Seminole.
We'll know that next week because they play.
I know.
I love that you said that. I totally disagree with you, but
I think Greenwood's almost as maybe not as good as Seminole.
I know what you mean though.
But they're
in the same. No,
and if Seminole name their score against Fort Stockton, I think Greenwood will. And when I say maybe not name their score, but by
you think
3
they'll
touchdowns,
win comfortably? Yeah,
3 touchdowns.
I have no problem. I think Midland Greenwood wins, but I think it's a lot closer. I think that offense of Stockton is really, really good. Greenwood's defense has gotten better, but they still at times can give up points. But I do agree with you that Greenwood wins the game. Let me make sure Coach X doesn't have anything on this one. No, he doesn't. Okay.
All right, Gilmer and Pleasant Grove. Here's my big upset.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about this earlier.
So Gilmer coming in 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pleasant Grove with 2 losses, I think 2.
Yeah, and they were at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Yeah, Paris 7-0, Kilgore 37-31. And the Paris one, look, we've started to learn with Pleasant Grove. The first couple weeks when they're having to make a ton of changes. Let's not forget, man, they lost to Kari Johnson from last year, and he was the guy that made everything go.
Right.
It's going to take them some time to figure out that offensive flow because I'll give Coach Gibson one of the biggest credits is he takes his scheme and it matches his talent. So sometimes they throw the ball a lot more than they would normally do.
Well,
sometimes they run the ball.
Dudes that you wouldn't think would be a defensive tackle. So,
yes.
Right. He'll put him at defensive tackle. You wouldn't put a dude at right guard. I don't know, but he's quick and he can pull, right? And you would think he would be a better linebacker. That's what Coach Gibson does. Now, that being said, I have no rhyme or reason for this pick, but I'm taking Pleasant Grove. I think Gilmer should win this game 9 ways to Sunday, but I'm taking Pleasant Grove.
I don't have a problem with that. First off, it's in Pleasant Grove, and I don't care how many times you've gone to play there, and somebody don't send me, Gilmer's won 4 or 5. It is tough as hell to play in that place when that fan base is going.
A lot like Mason.
Well played, sir. Well played. Got to check the 2A show for that one. At least this one I can prove it.
Right.
I still think Gilmer.
Like Gilmer's the better team.
Well,
there's something telling me that Pleasant Grove pulls the upset.
It would not. I don't even know it would be an upset. I still like Gilmer.
It would be an upset.
I still think Gilmer is the favorite to repeat as state champ. So I've got to stick with that. I'm still going Gilmer.
I don't know if they're the favorite to repeat as state champs, but if I were having to lay money on anybody getting there, to defend the title, it would be Gilmer, but Pleasant Grove, I think, is going to pull the upset.
When they
here.
play in the playoffs, Carthage will be lucky to score 3 against Gilmer. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Whoa!
But no,
Carthage
I like
still team to beat, dude. I'm telling you.
I like Gilmer. I'm just saying in this game,
and I like.
But this is going to be a great game either way.
Grove
and by the way,
one,
the loser of this team is still playing for a long time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that Gilmer, Pleasant Grove, and Van are all 3 maybe knocking each other out, and then the winner taking on Carthage at the end of the day.
All right, Sealy and Madisonville. This is a tasty matchup. A lot like the base Bridge City and LCM game. Sealy Madisonville is a quiet game of the week.
I have to step in with a but.
Mm-hmm.
But that changes if Sealy's quarterback cannot play. He was out for most of
the last 2 weeks.
Was
I
it
thought
2
he was
weeks?
back.
Oh, well, maybe he is back. I just know against Belleville, he struggled, and against Giddings, they ended up winning comfortably, but that game was back and forth after he got hurt in that Giddings game. But yeah, other than that, and
without
I still think
him, then Madisonville rolls.
I don't know rolls because Madisonville, they're I don't want to say they're Paris because they do bounce back, but whenever you think they're going to zig, they zag. So every time, when they got comfortable,
they're playing a tough schedule.
Yes, but let me make my point. So they barely lose to Malakoff.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Columbus a hard time for 3 quarters, and then they lose to Center. And I know Center's better, but
Center's not Madison or Center's not Columbus.
That's my point.
Right.
You would think that Madisonville would have looked at the Center game and be like, okay, we can breathe a little, and then they get beat. So I don't trust Madisonville.
Maybe that's why they lost. I don't know.
Hey, that's a good point, actually. Very good point. I mean, we saw that with Henderson and Maybank. Henderson beats Kilgore. And
I think Madisonville gets right.
I do too. I think they win this game.
I think they win this one this week. This is in Madisonville, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very tough place to play.
And a very underrated place to go see a game. We really enjoyed our time there.
Oh, yeah.
Stadium is kind of off in the I love stadiums in the middle of downtown, but I also love when the school and the stadium are kind of out of the city limits.
You kind of like the stadiums, kind of like your dates, out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Tied down
in the woods.
They can't speak. Wait.
Well, no.
Am I gonna be like that dude from HBO that admitted to the murder while on the mic that time because he thought nobody was listening? That's what you know what I'm talking about? That billionaire guy?
I watch a lot of TV and I don't remember that one, but I like you.
Yeah,
Tell me off
I
camera.
I did a couple weeks ago and I still can't remember because we had this conversation.
I mean, me. I like murder. Do I not like murder?
He likes murder. It's a scary thing.
I like watching.
I will say this: either one of these teams, I don't want to play in the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely,
both of these teams will. And again,
especially with a healthy Sealy and a healthy Madisonville.
Yes.
Yeah, no, not at all. All right, La Vega Robinson, another really good game,
dude.
Man.
If you'd have just gave me point spreads at the beginning of the year,
like how did we pick Sunray and Panhandle in 2A when we got Columbus and Hitchcock and we got Stephenville and
don't go, man. You keep crapping on that trail.
Sealy and Madison. No, I want to go because I'm doing it for the show.
I think that's a better matchup than all these. Honestly,
okay, but it's 15,000 hours away.
Yeah, but
do you know where Sunray is? Go to Kansas. And you're 20 minutes south.
So I can't. I
got to go to Kansas. Basically,
this was a pre-week where I wasn't going, so he's planning this. But here's
so
what
you're all like, I don't have to go.
Here's not
you need to go to Sunray.
He's not what he's.
You know what there is to do in Sunray? Nothing.
Do you know what
I have to stay in Borger? You know what there is to do in Borger?
Plaza.
One bar. Yes. Okay.
That's where you're going.
And then one bar that is cooled by a window unit. So that tells you all you need to know.
That cool breeze from Kansas coming down. No, what he's not telling you, though, is since I'm not going, he's taking the wifey, and she thinks this is a Texas road trip, and then they'll pull up, and he'll go, oh, look, a football game. You know what? Babe, go have some wine. I'm just going to go check out the game. So
a wine and a corny dog and a Frito pie.
Hey, that
It'll
all
be
sounds
all right.
good, really. Hey, did you see where they're doing? They did fried Frito pie at the State Fair this year.
No, but I like it.
I really would have liked to have tried.
I don't know how you do that, but I am all in.
I don't know how they fry everything like that. It's anyway. So what's the next game?
All right, next game. Well, La Vega Robinson.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about this one.
All right, so La Vega comes in with Bryson Rowland at running back, one of the best running back in 4A, right?
Yes,
the best, not one of the best, but the best. Then Courtney Parr at quarterback, Chris Parr's cousin.
He's starting to figure it out.
Yeah, really good. But man, Robinson's defense has been really good. Their offense with Evan Moreno at running back, Bryce McCurdy quarterback, Austin Marshall at receiver. I like Robinson in a nip and tuck game. This is going to be close. Can Robinson stop Roland and Parr? I think they can slow him down.
This will either, in my opinion, be a close Robinson win or La Vega wins by 2 touchdowns.
I know. It's a weird one, right?
Yeah, because there's part of me that wants to say, look, Robinson has proven it. Again, their only losses to Alvarado. No shame in that. They beat Glen
by 2 touchdowns.
By 2 touchdowns, yeah. They beat Glen Rose, but then Glen Rose also lost the very next week. Takes little shine of that.
Yeah.
So
but Glen Rose was healthy at that time.
Oh, no. I know.
Alvarado is as fast as La Vega.
Oh, no. Again, it's Robinson has everything, but how many times have we seen the upstart play a La Vega team that might not be as good as they were 4 or 5 years ago, but they're really actually way better than their record? I think La Vega's way better than their record, man.
I think they are, but I don't think Courtney Parr at quarterback.
I think that's still the weak point.
Robinson defense on their heels.
I agree with that.
I think Robinson can just load up against Bryson Rowland and make Courtney Parr beat him, right? I think that's what's going to happen. That being said, La Vega will come out and roll them.
I still got to go La Vega.
I think I like Robinson in a 3-point game.
And I think La Vega wins by 14 points.
Okay. El Campo and Bay City, one of the oldest rivalries in the state of Texas. El Campo comes in with their quarterback, Ridge Barnett, 1,200 yards passing. Camden Phillips at running back, Vladimir Garcia at running back, 2 really good running backs. The El Campo defense has been really good, only giving up about 9 points a game this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bay City with Alex Estrada at quarterback, Zylan Williams at receiver, Jada Andrews at running back. Bay City's been putting up big numbers all year against a really good El Campo team.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it enough.
El Campo defense. Well, El Campo lost their first one against who was it this year? They lost to.
It wasn't their first one. It was their second one. It was to Rudder, Brian Rudder.
Yeah, Brian.
It was a close game, 21-17.
Right. That kind of took the shine off them for me, and I didn't look back until this week. Right.
Travis Reeve, the old Cuero coach who won a state championship, and he's been now at El Campo's second year, really starting to see that what he likes to do offensively, because he's very much if you give us the run, we'll take it. If you give us the pass, we'll take it. We can do both and we'll be happy. That offense has flourished this year. 52, 56, 31, 56, 42, 66. This is a rivalry. It's touted because of how old it is. And when you think of it, you go, man, El Campo, Bay City, the years that they've had. And then you're really going to start looking, and both teams are not quite as prolific in the playoffs as you think in your mind.
Right.
They make runs at key times. Bay City, Chad Morris, we all know, 2000, that kind of put Morris on the map. I mean, I know what he'd done in Elysian Fields, but he finally won the state championship. Yeah. And then El Campo.
Well, Eustis before that.
Oh yeah, and he took Eustis to 12 and 11 wins. And
we're doing a deep dive.
Yeah, we know the Chad Morris coaching tree. And then El Campo is one of those,
and he was a basketball coach at Eustis, by the way.
And I think they were pretty. I called one basketball game when he was there, and I think they were pretty solid. But the thing about El Campo is their status is not where you really like. I think of them as a blue blood of football, but they're not.
Everybody in El Campo thinks they're a blue blood,
and I think sometimes that gets them in trouble with where they feel that they are as a program.
But Bay City hasn't been a blue blood. Do they think they're blue bloods?
No, that's a good question.
I mean, they might think the exact same way. The thing is,
we don't have
Bay City's moved down last few years. We haven't had a chance to go there yet.
Yeah,
right? So we haven't gotten to. Maybe we should be at this game instead of Sunray.
Dude, just go to freaking El Campo.
God, why you got to send me to Sunray?
I
Kansas?
Didn't send you anywhere.
I'm going to a K-State college game the next day.
That actually is be fun, dude.
I know, actually. Who do you like in this one? I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if this is an upset, but give me El Campo.
No, I think El Campo is a slight favorite. I agree with you, though.
I think Bay City would be the favorite, but I then again I don't know because Edna just scored them right.
Yeah,
Back
35 to
week
7.
2 or 3. So
now they do have a 1-point victory over Sealy, and we're talking about
Right.
Sealy. But yeah, at the end of the day, for me,
El
Campo, I think it's going to be close. I think it's nice to finally where it feels like this rivalry is back on even ground because
Yeah.
El Campo has
it
dominated.
ought to be within a touchdown. Don't you think?
Yeah. Like, I
Or
think,
at
I
least if it's not a touchdown, it's going into fourth quarter.
I think at least 3 or 4 points. I think this is
Okay.
really, really close. Coach X actually has something to say on this one. Got to be the best mascot matchup in the state. I agree with him there. Rice Birds versus Black Cats. But shouldn't El Campo have to either change the town name to the camp or their mascot to El Paro de Arroz? So El Gato de Negro versus
wait.
El Paro.
The rice,
the-
he said a rose.
What's Paro? Pajaro?
Paro is the cats. Paro,
Oh,
Paro,
wait. No.
Paro.
El Gato's the cats.
yeah, dogs. Paro is a dog.
Wait, is Paro a bird?
Rice dog.
Paro's a bird. Hang on, let me check.
Arroz gatos.
Here on the sideline, Mexican challenge.
I've been to Acuna. I've been
Yeah,
to Piedras Negras. I've been to.
I've been to Mexico, but I've never did good. Yeah, bird. It's a bird.
Thank you.
Coach X, you got to
I
stay.
didn't say bird.
Brett
Anyway.
Lee's going crazy right now with our pronunciation. That dude for a white dude, he can roll the R's and everything so naturally. I don't. Anyway, cats eat birds on the reg, and then didn't they make a weird face about
on
it?
the reg.
That's what he
He's
said
like
too.
18-year-old Coach X.
Yeah, he's trying to be all
on the reg.
he's rizzying out or whatever.
He probably watches Married at First Sight.
I bet he has
Love
a
Is
secret
Blind.
TikTok profile. He's trying to become a TikToker.
Probably,
I bet he
yeah.
tells people now that I used to coach, but now I'm a TikTok star.
Yeah.
Anyway, they make a weird face about it, or
We
so
saw
I've been
him in
told.
the Palestine Westwood video. So
Or maybe
there's that. Working the trophy over, if you
Oh,
know what I
man.
mean.
If there's ever
working the trophy.
there is a couple stories that we can't talk about there that if we ever do another late night or we're retired and
Next
we're writing
week.
a book
Next week. We're doing
Or
it
when-
next week.
or
And we'll
when-
show the pictures that we got.
Oh my god! Or maybe that's just the Canaries. Give me the Bass City Rollers. So he's got Bay City. That was the most convoluted. Anyway, we got one more game to talk about? 2 more games to talk
Two
about.
more, yeah.
All right, let's go. Mineral Wells versus Graham, and then we'll go back to Pine Tree versus Chapel Hill.
All right, Mineral Wells 5-2. Their only losses to Godly 31-14 and to Brock 21-0 last week.
By the way, 2 losses are 2 really good losses. I mean,
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
Brock. I mean, Godly
But look at Graham's losses. Not bad either.
to
right?
Springtown. And,
Yeah.
and to be fair,
And you said Springtown's as
Well,
good as
the
Gilmer.
Dallas Cowboys. But to be fair to Graham,
Oh, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Graham's starting running back was out in that game, Springtown.
Mhm.
And everybody talks about Ty Thompson, but Rylan Monsey last year had 1,800
Oh, yeah,
yards
yeah.
and running and like 600 yards receiving.
He's back.
Yeah, he's been back.
And they
then-
got really good receivers in Harrison Brockway and Braden Riggins.
yes, and
right?
also
And they're healthy.
Also, they didn't. I mean, they game planned for this guy, but they had no real film on this sophomore QB for Springtown, and you know how that happens all the
Oh,
time.
Yeah.
But since then, that defense shutout, 14 shutout. I love what Mineral Wells did against Brock, but I hate to say it. It's going to be another shutout, probably. I think Graham wins this more comfortably than Brock did. And that's
I
not a
think Graham
comparison.
is starting to feel they're starting to feel it, right?
Oh yeah,
They got
100%.
everybody back. This is leading up. They're not going to overlook Mineral Wells because you cannot overlook Mineral Wells.
No,
This is not the Rams teams of the 90s and early and mid 2000s.
no.
This is a team you cannot overlook. I don't think Graham will. But saying that, man, they win this game. They're looking towards a titanic matchup against Brock next week that we will likely be at.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it'll be one of those. It's not only the game of the week in 4A, it might be the game of the week in the state because you're going to get Brock at least number 2 because they're going to destroy Burke Burnett, and then you'll get Graham, and I think Graham will win comfortably against Mineral Wells, and depending on what happens above them, Graham is at number 7. I mean, we're going Dave Campbell. I know we should go our own rankings, but we don't ever do those till the day after the show, so I can't. But but Graham is
But
probably
we had
fourth,
Graham
fifth.
around the same area.
Yeah,
three,
and so you're
7,
talking 2
6.
versus 4 or 5 or 6. So it's going to be a great matchup.
All right, I like Graham in this one.
I like Graham in this one as well.
All right, last one of the night. Longview Pine Tree versus Chapel Hill. Pine Tree 6-1. Only lost to Kilgore 7-6. Chapel Hill's running back Ricky Stewart. Their quarterback Demetrius Brisbane, who has, I think, been in and out, right, with a little bit of an injury. We don't know if he's 100% healthy. But Chapel Hill's defense has given up around 23 points a game.
Well, and that's been
And Pine Tree will feast on a defense that is giving up over 20 points a game.
And that's been the issue with Chapel Hill through these last
And
4 years, where
they don't like physicality. Yeah. I'm sorry, they don't. Even last year,
yeah, no, agree. And Henderson,
if they can get an athlete, they'll take that all day.
And in high school football, that works 9 out of 10 times. Again, you cannot argue with the last 5 years' results for Chapel Hill. They have been one of the blue bloods in the last 5 years of 4A Division I, but they haven't been able to get over that hump. I foresee this being the game that they kind of reestablish themselves as a region threat. I love what Pine Tree's doing. I think Pine Tree is going.
It's over at Chapel Hill.
It's over at Chapel Hill, and Pine Tree, as great as Pine Tree has been this year, they still, if they lose this week and they lose next week, they would be out of the playoffs without help.
How do you move down, announce yourself like they did at 6-1?
And then miss the playoffs?
And miss the playoffs.
Because 9-4A Division I is a bitch.
Right. But I'm just telling you, that is a abomination of moving down.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. No, you're not wrong. I'm going to go with Chapel Hill in this game.
I
don't feel comfortable doing that. I'll admit. It's in, it is in Chapel Hill. And Chapel Hill, underrated, is a really tough place to play. Don't Mason me, damn it. I sometimes just hate you. I just hate you so much.
I'm just saying, I've been to Chapel Hill, and other than them cutting off the cell service, which they do.
That's why Palestine Westwood won't do a game there. You can't get cell service to shoot video.
Dude, we should talk. That's actually pretty genius.
Like Coach X has something to say.
I mean, dude, they do shut off the cell service.
It's like Rockwall.
Other than that, it's not that hard to play Chapel
like
Hill. All you have to do is just punch them in the teeth and they'll just.
I'm talking about just historically. I don't mean in this last 2-3 years. Okay, Chapel Hill fans. We both like Chapel Hill, but we're both uneasy.
I am very uneasy.
Yeah, I'm very uneasy about this pick.
How uneasy my stomach is? Like I'm wearing a diaper right now. That's how uneasy I really am.
And he doesn't understand just because he wears it doesn't mean I have to change it. All right, here's what Coach X has to say. Will the real Chapel Hill please stand up? I repeat, will the real Chapel Hill please stand up? We're going to have a problem here. Y'all act like you ain't never seen a football team before score 45 on Maybank but give up 42 to Kilgore. Oh, wait, it's the return of Pine Tree. Didn't drop down to 4A and start winning, did they? I'm going to go with the Pirates in this one. They're a little Slim Shady. I like that.
Me too, and I think I might
go Pine. You went Pine Tree initially, and then I said Chapel Hill, and I drew you over.
Yeah, I guess
go back to Pine Tree because
what if I want to stay with Chapel Hill?
You don't. You said Chapel Hill's little pussies.
I did, and Pine Tree is going to whip that ass. So now I'm going Pine Tree by 5 touchdowns.
I
didn't say the P word.
No,
by the way,
I have been around.
You shouldn't say the P word.
I have been around Pine Tree football my whole life, and I have never in my life heard someone say they are the more violent physical team in the history of my 40 years of knowing Pine Tree.
I have not been around Pine Tree.
Oh, dude, they were the whipping dog.
And I've never heard that either. I know
they were the whipping dog of the whipping dogs back in the day.
But you know what? I am going Pine Tree.
I have no problem with that. And I still like both of these teams to play a pretty good while in the playoffs.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
Chapel Hill's got to find a defensive identity.
An attitude. Attitude to where if we get down 14-0, we're going to roll up our sleeves and fight. And we just haven't seen that, whether it be we're
not going to roll over.
No. Yeah. And
scratch my belly.
Yeah. Wait, can you scratch my belly?
People train like moths.
You just see me outside.
Anyway, that's going to do it.
You got $20?
Brett, can y'all PayPal me $20?
Oh, 40 if it's Brett. He's got the money.
Anyway, that's going to do it for week 9 of the 4A show. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, you can email the show, grantandterry@s2sport.com. Find us on Twitter @GrantandTerry. Like us on Facebook, Sideline to Sideline. We do appreciate our sponsor, Newer Guard Plus, and also our new one, Lazy Dog Kettle Corn. That's going to do it for this week. Until next time, he's Grant. I'm Terry. This is Sideline to Sideline on L4 Media.